Alright people, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you'll know when I upload the next video and you'll be supporting my channel. Follow me on Twitter. Every time I upload a new video, I'll be tweeting. Kurzgesagt, Reaction, and this is We Lied to You. That's what the thumbnail says. And the title says, and we'll do it again. I knew it. This channel is too good to be true. They are liars. No, okay. I don't know what they're going to talk about here. But yeah, obviously it's going to be interesting. This is a Kurzgesagt video. I love this channel, right? I love anything science in general. And this is one of the best science channel on YouTube. So I love reacting to this. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more, I guess. Check out the reaction, there's a link in the description. Check out the cast for playlists like Kurzgesagt, playlist with all of my Kurzgesagt reaction, and then, oversimplified, internet historian, Warhammer 40k, Jontron. Yeah, that's what it.
Kurzgesagt is lying to you in every video, even in this one. Because our videos distill very complex subjects into flashy 10-minute pieces, and unfortunately, reality is, well, complicated. The question of how we deal with that is central to what we do on this channel, and something we think about a lot. What we mean by lying is the concept of lies to children. The idea that on the path to explaining something complicated, you start off with a little lie, a useful oversimplification that makes it easier to grasp a concept. For example, as a kid you learn that the Earth is a sphere orbiting the Sun with planet buddies. But it's not actually a sphere, and the buddies are super different in size and not close to each other at all.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, I get it what he's going to talk about here. I guess, I don't know, was it Neil deGrasse Tyson? I don't know who said it, right? But it's like need to know basis type of thing. I mean, if you don't know anything about certain field, right, when you're children, or I guess at any age, when you don't know anything about a certain field, people can just dump a whole truth at you. You'll be confused. So for you to get an idea of certain things, sometimes they will lie to you, I guess. Like, like how our Earth's orbit around the sun. I mean, when somebody asks you, is it perfect circle or is it oblate? What would you say it? I mean, yeah, it's a oblate, right? I mean, that's what we all know, right? It's an oblate. I mean, that's what we're told. So whenever we imagine that, right, we would imagine that being ridiculously more oblate than the circle is, I guess. I don't know how else to say that. I mean, that's how lots of I guess visualization in news channels, certain books show it like that. But our Earth's orbit around the sun is near perfect circle, right? I mean, obviously it's a few degrees oblate, but when you see it, I mean, it's a perfect circle. I mean, if you were to draw a perfect circle on a board or something, blackboard or something, you still won't be able to draw a perfect circle than how our Earth's orbit is, right? But if you told them like it's a near perfect circle, they will think it's a circle, but it's not, it's an oblate. So they have to tell you oblate for you to understand it. So the thing is like that, right? I mean, you have to tell certain lies for you to understand something. So when you progress later on, when things get more, I guess, complex, you can learn like why there was a lie just for you to understand something, and now why this is like this, and it makes sense.
By beginning at a place of oversimplification, you're building a framework, a foundation that you can then build upon and add nuance and complexity later on. Step by step, you're getting towards the real gist of the complicated subject. Science communication has to use lies to children to some degree, or it turns into science education. And getting a proper education in all of the scientific fields would take years of intense study to become fluent in them. As a species, we have a major interest in summarizing science and its advancements and educating as many people about it as possible, because we all benefit if more people have a fact-based scientific worldview. We will discuss what science is and how it works in different videos in more detail, but for now, let's just say it's a process to advance, organize, predict, and test our knowledge about the universe.
Understanding of everything.
If you understand the current state of scientific knowledge, then you can make better decisions based on facts and testable ideas, rather than outdated belief systems or our intuition that evolved to protect our ancestors from lions but is no longer suited for the complexity of our modern world. Our brains are...
Yeah, whenever certain people argue, like, I don't trust this science and this science, whenever they put this kind of a quotation mark, whenever they emphasize on this science, like, what do you mean by this science? Science is just a word that people use for understanding of the world. If you can come up with a new field, which is completely different, but it is true, I guess, objectively true, of how the world works, and you can create this kind of understanding of the world, right? You can discover this understanding of the world. That itself becomes science, right? Science is not a thing that, some people preach, and whether you have to believe it or not. Now, science is science, right? You can check it. You can go to a lab, you can have a telescope, you can look in the space. Science is kind of, you can, check things for your own self. So, people say, oh, this scientist and their science. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean by this scientist and their science?
Comically ill-prepared to navigate the fast-moving world we happen to live in today, a world ironically created by science. A few hundred years ago, it was possible to be knowledgeable at an expert level in pretty much every field of study. In the information age, this is a futile endeavor since knowledge and data are increasing exponentially. So to even have a chance of grasping the world we live in, we need summaries that give us, if not a true understanding of all the details, a solid overview. Explaining science to many people is not about enlightening the ignorant, but necessary for the progress of our species at large. To make this possible, we need to find metaphors and stories that capture the true nature of things as much as possible, while using a language that our brains can deal with. A great example here is physics.
Yeah, it's not always to, I guess, dumb down to certain people, right? Dumb down to kids or certain beginners. No, it's certain things even to the, I guess, top of the field scientists. Certain things they have to, I guess, summarize to understanding, because certain things are way too complex just to know top of your head. So certain things are just easier to understand if you simplify them.
Quarks are often depicted as blue, red, and green with different spins. But just saying spin and using colors forces our brain to imagine colorful spinning balls, which is great to visualize the different types and the relationships between quarks, but also creates a very wrong image of reality in our heads.
Like that.
Molecules are nothing like the neat diagrams that we're taught in school, but buzzing and vibrating entities held together by something we call charge that describes how certain things want to be close or escape each other for some unknown reason. We're describing phenomena that we're pretty sure exist in some form or another because the maths works out and we can do real-world experiments and predict their results before we do them. In reality, these are models, tricks to summarize what we know, and make up a coherent story and prepare the ground for more in-depth explanations.
Yeah, these are not really lies or even dumbing down or anything like that. First of all, we are talking about certain things at quantum level. We can't understand or even, visualize anything at quantum level. We can't see quantum level. So whenever we create something that is kind of easier things to understand, that's not really a lie. That is the only way we can see and understand, because we can't see the quantum level. So it's not really a lie or dumbing down or anything like that, or it's just summarizing. It is the only way we can understand. So it's not really dumbing down. Obviously in reality it would just look really, weird and fuzzy like that, but obviously we can't see it like that because, our senses cannot pick that up. So certain things are just there for us to understand, because many things in science is, I guess our senses cannot pick it up. That's why we have lab equipments and, different methods to discovering things. So we have to dumb down like that for us to even visualize or even understand.
Don't confuse the description of a thing for the thing itself. Simplifications like these are not just meant to dumb things down, they're actually useful for experts themselves. For example, chemists who use wrong electron shell models to work out chemical bonds, or scientists using simplified models as the basis for discussion with colleagues across different scientific fields. But the simplification of science can also be problematic for a bunch of reasons. Finding the true nature of reality is super hard because our brains did not evolve for this job, and the universe doesn't care if we understand it. Science is a process to work towards gaining knowledge and not an absolute truth generator.
Yeah, and also, we humans basically have certain small amount of, I guess, area in their mind that they can have certain knowledge. Like we say, just by top of my mind, I remember this or I can know this. So basically our mind is tuned in a way that we can have very small amount of information immediately on top of our head. So certain times we have to summarize certain things, certain times we have to simplify certain things for us to understand. So in that way we can be more quicker, right? Because sometimes we need something like that to understand something. We can't have complex things all the time in our head, because that will need time to understand the basis that we know of, and now from there we have to progress. It becomes way too much.
The answers it provides are multi-layered and nuanced, and that complexity can get lost when it's simplified, especially when it's done so for headlines. An interesting cancer study turns into a potential cure. A healthy food becomes the basis for a new diet.
And the Lucy thing, right? The movie The Lucy. Somebody basically, wrote something in a paper that we only understand certain percentage of our brain or what it does. Not that we only use a certain percentage of our brain. Somebody just basically take that and ran with it, like only we can only use certain percentage of our brain and we have so much potential. And they made a fucking movie out of that.
Simplifications give a misleading definiteness to science, which goes against its process-like nature. When cures don't materialize and diets don't turn out to be magical, we lose confidence in science and start to think of all science communication as misleading. Then there's the opposite effect. If a simplification is too engaging, if the story it tells is too good, it can distort the true complexity of a subject and give you a false sense of security and an illusion of deep knowledge. A gut feeling that you understand the science better than you actually do, which can lead people to ignore actual experts over their dangerous superficial knowledge and gut feeling.
Especially when it comes to medicine, right? Lots of people are doctors now, since they can Google things and just watch a drug.com or whatever that is, right? Basically just reading things on top or simplified version of it and thinking, oh, they know better than any other doctors, and try to school them.
And this can have negative consequences for all of us, because in the worst case, overconfidence in your own understanding of science can lead to bad decisions made with confidence. Just think of the surge of people that confidently disavow vaccines or climate change without truly understanding the subject matter. So considering all of this and the fact that we at Kurzgesagt reach millions of people with our videos, how do we handle this? Well, it has been a journey, especially the research. When we started, we just read articles, then moved on to books, peer-reviewed papers, then to conversations with experts. We began to collect our sources. With every step, we realized that we were still not doing enough. Nowadays, we try to read as many primary sources as possible, talk to multiple experts, and document our simplifications and give further reading in our sources doc. But this doesn't make our process flawless. What do you do if experts disagree with each other? What do you do if you find an amazing fact that perfectly fits a narrative but just can't find its primary source? How do you deal with the reality that many scientific results have huge error bars or maybes attached to them? How do you handle complex systems that defy easy answers? In the end, we make 10-minute videos, so we need to make decisions about what details and explanations can fit, which aspects need to be simplified, and which parts to cut. There is no single best answer for how to do this, and so we weigh the different options every single time. It can be painful for experts to see their field simplified. Some are happy with us, while others don't like it.
Basically, this is the point where you can't know anything for 100% type of argument. I mean, that is true with literally everything. Right? You can't know anything for 100%, right? Everything will have a, I guess, let's just say how CGP Grey says, asterisks right on top of them. So I guess, you just have to know like which kind of works, right? Somebody could come and argue that you were wrong there, right? And that person might not necessarily be wrong by pointing that out. But whatever Kurzgesagt put here, Kurzgesagt is not wrong by himself too. So the point basically is you can't know everything 100% sure. So yeah, you just have to go with what, I guess, fit the narrative at that point, I guess.
This is fair, but also impossible to avoid. we're still trying to improve and want to be transparent about what we're trying to do. For example, we're taking part in the Tresca project about science communication to learn more. All of this brings us to the purpose of our videos. The most important thing we want to do with this channel is to inspire you and spark your curiosity for science and the amazing universe we live in. Learning often doesn't feel like fun, but with the right story, it is one of the best things, and we hope to provide that to you. Ultimately, we hope that we light a fire in you that motivates you to read books, pay more attention at school or university, and just get interested in a scientific field or two and learn more on your own. Not because you have to, but because you want to know more about how the world really works. Because the universe is beautiful, and science is a way of seeing this beauty more clearly. And we hope that knowing that we
today's world where basically everything is red and blue, let's just say, right? People just have other left, view, or people just have right view, and they close their mind. Like anybody who doesn't align with that is lying. It's kind of sad, because we as humans should have that kind of mind that, no side is true unless I investigate, right? Basically, you should use scientific tools. First of all, science is not something that maybe you should be. Science is just a word, and that word means the understanding of everything, right? Science is for everybody, right? And everybody can basically, do science if they're capable, basically. So, it's just sad to see how certain people, it just, closes their mind and basically vision, right? Like, this is how it is, and everybody's like, fake news, they are lying, this side is lying, and just, I guess, pull certain lies from other side, pull certain, I guess, extracts, like I said, from certain studies, and use that as to explain like how science is wrong and how scientists are wrong, even though 99% of scientists are basically saying no, they are all wrong, because this is the fucking blog, this is a certain article that was wrote in, I guess, 1984 or whatever. That is just sad. You have to have some kind of a critical thinking from your part, right? You have to have that kind of a scientifically literate type of mind, that you investigate, you see evidence on all sides, you see different, I guess, research, and then come on to the conclusion, like after checking all that, reviewing all things, like what is my position. Not that if something not aligned with me, it's probably a lie, right? That they are opposite group than what group I belong to, so everything they say is a lie. That's kind of fucked up.
Have to simplify a bit does not make you enjoy our videos less. We are trying to build something with Kurzgesagt, and while we're not 100% sure yet what exactly, hopefully something that gets people to think about their own life and the context they exist in today, as well as the far future and the potential we all have as a species. And of course, how big things are, and what happens when we blow stuff up, because it's fun. Thanks for watching and sharing and supporting us. We really can't do this without you.
Yeah, if somebody can do it, it's Kurzgesagt, right? Because Kurzgesagt frequently gives us existential crisis with many of their videos. So yeah, Kurzgesagt does have that kind of effect. They can achieve
Running a
things like
science communication business is a balancing act that we take extremely seriously. On the one hand, we need to be responsible and look out for the team and be able to grow responsibly. On the other hand, we have to protect the integrity of our videos. You are enabling us to stay independent, because while we do things like sponsorships or commercial work, the majority of our income comes directly from you, the burbs. Kurzgesagt is fundamentally funded by its community, by you. Because of you, Kurzgesagt is able to invest as much time in our videos and try to become better. You get our calendar every year, support us on Patreon, and get your personal birds, watch our videos without ad block or with YouTube Premium. Our favorite way to keep the channel running are our sciencey products from our shop that hopefully add additional value to the world. We love bringing little pieces of knowledge into your home or classroom that inspire you to learn more about the universe in a little more detail, especially with our carefully researched infographic posters. Our latest one teaches you about the night sky and showcases the stars in our night sky and their special significance for humanity. With every purchase, you directly support what we do on this channel. Please don't feel obligated to do so though. Watching and sharing is already helping us out a lot, and we are just grateful that so many of you care about what we try to do here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, seriously, if you can support a channel, you should definitely support Kurzgesagt, because it's a big science channel. They cover really great topic, and yeah, they don't necessarily tackle topics that would give them more views, right? They're not views hungry people. They try to, I guess, get a scientific point through. If the time demands certain type of points that they have to make a video about, they do that. So I love that about them, right? I mean, certain things, if they feel like they are in best position to explain certain things or get a certain type of knowledge through, they do that, not just to get views, but to basically expand the scientific knowledge. That's just great. Alright, people, if you like my Rick Sunday, like, subscribe. Check out the Rick Sunday. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast for basic thing cards. Yeah, I'll see you next time.